I guess assume Joe came through everything okay. He said he's ready to looking for longer than 30 minutes this weekend. How do
Yeah,
you see that?
yeah. Joe, I thought came in and was super dynamic. He was sharp. He was busy. He was active. So even the 30-minute shift or 40-minute, because it was 10 minutes of extra time roughly. I think he put in good volume and good speed and all the things that you want to see him to do coming back. So yeah, he's definitely progressed himself in availability of minutes and things like that. So.
Looking back at that first game, of course he didn't play in it, but how do you think with him you guys can go into this game attacking San Diego?
Yeah, part of it is a team like them they're good on the ball, good in possession, maybe first in the league in terms of possession percentage. Having a guy like Joe, who in the transition can be so lethal, that company with Gabe and with others, it means that in possession moments they've got to be very, very mindful and aware of what our capacity could be in transition, things like that. So it gives you just another layer of being able to punish the opposition in different phases of the game. So not always just in possession, but in transition sometimes. And so having Joe gives us a different layer on that side.
Everybody else you think is available?
Yeah, I don't think we don't have anybody who's been out. Everybody's been in training today, and everybody's healthy. Good.
Go ahead, Josh.
Hey, Greg. Thanks for the time. Appreciate
Josh.
it. You guys didn't have much tape, and nobody really did on San Diego to start that first game.
Yeah.
Is it easier to prepare for him now just because you've seen some of that, and does that also provide different challenges? Have they thrown into this season?
I think, I think as much video that you have and or experiences playing them, I think is all valuable. You start to see in different scenarios, under different conditions, what they do to adapt, whether it's their shape or what they do with different players. So you start to get a better picture of kind of who they are, and again, how within the course of games they might evolve or might adapt in terms of their movements, things like that. The things that they remain good at are they're very good in possession. They're very connected in terms of their spacing. They like to dominate the middle of the field when it comes to, again, numbers. But you still see now like the directness of Chucky Lozano off the ball, his willingness to just break for the depth, and so you have to be mindful of not always will they just play things short. Sometimes they'll just try to beat you in one pass, and so you got to be mindful of these things. And the more times, again, the more repetition you see and what other teams will do against them to try to deal with certain situations, you get some repetitions that maybe we wouldn't for sure had in the first match. So we've learned a lot about ourselves as well, and some of the newer guys, and they've come along. And having Joe out is a different type of player than we had in the first match. So it'll be different in its ways. I think again, it's two teams that would like to have possession, so there'll be a battle for that inside of it, and then it's going to be who can create and capitalize on the big moments in the game.
And I know coming off the draw against LAFC, it wasn't a win, but there seemed to be some good positives there. Some, I think you said, dynamic movement, some chance creation, maybe that wasn't there before. How does the team look this week in training, having accomplished that feat and looking forward to San Diego?
Yeah, good. I think the group it just remains, focused and looking at the next opposition. I mean, we did a review back to some of the things from the last game. We look at the good, the bad, and the stuff that also is going to very much translate as we start to move forward into the weekend. So those reviews are there. Again, there's a lot of positive things to take away from LAFC, and I think those are things that, again, the guys should focus on. Because once you get out of the emotion and the disappointment of maybe we felt like we could have gotten 3 out of it or whatever, but you take the 1 because it's probably a fair result. Again, it gets back into business and just taking away the things that can be useful to try to improve our margins, be a little bit stingier on the defensive side. I don't think it was a ton of plays, but there's a few plays that we needed to manage better. And then the things that are good for us inside of the different players that we put out on the field and how we put those guys out there to play off of each other. So there's lots there to take away from. It's all just kind of puts back into the process and who we're playing this weekend and how that's going to hopefully set us up for success.
Thanks, Rick.
Yep.
Go ahead, Rob.
Hey, Greg, thanks so much for your time and for talking to us.
Rob.
Against LAFC, you spoke about the importance of having Marco Royce have some runners beside him. But against the Union, we saw him play as a false nine. Do you have an idea of like where he is most effective, and then what his inclusion maybe in that false nine or in that 10 role does to somebody like Diego Fagundes and his availability and his usage for the match? Thank you.
Yeah, Marco's greatest assets at the moment and within our group is his ability to sort of facilitate the attacks. Making decisions, getting guys involved, getting the ball to where it needs to go at the right weight, at the right speed, to the right guys, like things like that. And so, drifting into certain areas to create superiorities, things like that is using his brain and his qualities, vision, things like that are what Marco is excellent, and defensively very aware just in terms of his positioning and what to take away, when to help us to initiate. He's not out there to run anybody over, overpower things. He's there to create. And so depending on the opposition, a team like Philadelphia is almost like the polar opposite of a team like San Diego or others. And so how we and also the players that are on the field around him are very different. So we try to put him in positions that he can bring out his best qualities for us and help us to facilitate the game, specifically in the final actions. And that could vary slightly. I mean, he's a guy who, through his career, has played on the wing. He's played up as a 9. He's played as a 10. So he's comfortable in all those positions. It's just about putting the pieces around him that we feel can bring out their qualities and his qualities as well. So what does that mean for Diego? I mean, I think at times, Diego's been primarily used like on the wing at times. Obviously, with Joe coming back in, there's some decisions to make on that. But so I think, again, it's a part of it is looking at the opponent and what we think our approach is to create dangerous opportunities and obviously protect ourselves, bring out the best qualities of each of the guys so that as a collective group, we're trying to increase our margins for victory, and then it's about execution on the day. So.
Anything else? That's it.
One thing Edwin said the other day, Lucas got here, he was real shy. How do you see him sort of open up and sort of be able to express himself more as he's sort of done settled into his role?
Yeah, with Lucas, the questions about Lucas, I think when you first arrive here, you don't speak the language, you're trying to settle in. I just think a lot of variables in his world were unsettled. And he is a shy guy in terms of his general daily demeanor. He's not very talkative, at least in the broader group. He has connections in the group, but so I think he doesn't have an understanding of everything that's going on around him on a consistent basis. So when you're maybe not type A in terms of that, I think you are relying a lot on what you're taking in visually through your eyes and how you're processing information out on the field, things like that. And I think because he's not a big communicator and because he doesn't have perfect understanding maybe with certain guys that are around him, then you're really reliant upon the information you're taking in and how you're applying that to the game and making your decisions and things like that. I just think he's gotten a lot more comfortable in his surroundings, the way we want to play, his role on the field, his capacity to kind of understand our league and the speed of our league, his ability to take in a little more information maybe than he was initially. Lines of communication, a few words here or there have probably gotten a little bit better for him in terms of guys. Amiro certainly can talk to him. Eddie can talk to him. There's guys who can. Diego, when he's on the left side, is a great resource for him in terms of communication, things like that. So I think it's just part of the settling in process. But he certainly has settled in more. And now as he gets comfortable and he feels more settled, we start to see the qualities that he has. He's combative. He can win challenges. I mean, he can win balls and start us in the counter in the transition. His capacity to cover ground and work with Eddie to close off things defensively has been great. And he's getting more comfortable, I think, in terms of the amount of time he generally has on the ball. He's getting a better feel for that inside of our league, which might be different when he's playing somewhere else. There's still things that he's going to learn more inside of our principles. When to get a ball off of this side and get it over to the other side a little quicker versus maybe going right back to the same side. There's things that he's going to continue to evolve in as that broadens, I think. So, but he's settled in, and he's a different player for us today than he was the first game of the season. I think it'll be great to see how, again, he continues to grow inside the group.
Awesome. Thanks for your time, Greg.
Yep, thank you.